and we stayed with the host family, and their bathroom is dug. They dig the hole themselves, and they they build a little toilet up top. The toilet seat's made out of styrofoam, something probably that they got in the mail. They like, oh, we got a nice, perfect styrofoam little thing, right? They put it on there. So I go in there, use the bathroom, and as I'm walking in there, Quinn's just like, hey man, just letting you know, like there's butt flies. I'm like, what? Butt flies? What is that? Like,
sound like something you get at Diddy's house.
What is this?
Butt flies.
And he was like, it's not a big deal, but they're gonna be like hitting your butt. They're gonna be like,
hold on, things are hitting your asshole, and this guy leads up with, not a big deal.
Not a big deal. Yeah. But when you're pooping, there's flies down there, and you're gonna feel them, kind of like, you know, every once in a while, I'll brush up on it. And I'm like, oh my god. And so I had to deal with the butt flies.
And welcome back to another edition of Dive In Deep with the Dirty Water Boys. You're truly Dirty Water Don. And to my left,
Ganimal.
And we have a special guest in the audience in the studio tonight, Big Brev. But I have seen and heard your voice in my dreams and on my Instagram and my TikTok for the last, I'd say, year or so. Can you give me a little taste of the one I'm talking about, the one song?
About Hoist the Colors?
Yes. Can we start this with that? Is that okay with you?
You mind if I be a son of a bitch and put you on the spot here?
What do you want me to do?
The first, just lead, anything what feels right. Do what feels right.
You were just sing Hoist the
From
Colors?
the heart.
Yeah, just
from the heart.
Yo ho, all hands, hoist the colors high.
Rock hard.
That's
I'm
it.
rock
We'll
hard.
end there.
Rock hard.
Good
That's all
luck
you
sleeping
need.
this weekend, pal. Good luck
You
sleeping
can go
this
listen
weekend.
to it
Goosebumps.
on Spotify.
Goosebumps. don't be scared. Spotify.
Yeah.
Play it on repeat.
So we hooked up. You were friends with John Reeds on Instagram, and we were doing the Bone Rush, and you know,
Shout out, John Reeves.
John Reeds, the man, the Godfather
legend.
himself.
He is one.
John Reeves, we love you. We love you, brother.
Oh, he's
What a guy.
Also, dream about him on the weekly.
He's the best.
I don't dream often, but when I do, it's your
Yeah.
voice and John Reed's very weird combination. But yeah, we became friends over the internet, which is really weird because you meet people on social media. And by the way, bravo on your social media. It continues blowing up. You meet people on social media and you realize they're so much nicer than like your actual family members. You notice that?
Yeah.
You meet people and you're like, you're really nice.
Sometimes.
Oh, well,
Every once in a while, you meet someone who's awesome, but sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes not so much. But
Do you ever hop in and just attack trolls back, or you just let them be?
a lot of times I tag them, or I pin it. That's what I mean. I pin it to the top so that the followers can hop on that. It's a good strategy too because it helps the video.
Internet
'Cause you
justice.
Well, what ends up happening is you get so much more engagement from that.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone says something shitty about me, I can pin it. My followers are going to start commenting on it, and immediately that video is going to do better because Instagram sees that the comment sections are booming.
Right.
And so sometimes the trolls, sometimes we need the trolls. You know?
I love the trolls.
Yeah, they help.
Necessary evil.
Yeah.
I love attacking them. So Luke McFadden, he came on the podcast with us. He's a crab fisherman from Baltimore. Great guy, great kid. Just really has his head on right. And he posted the video of the tragic bridge collapsing and the accident just took place.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
So I said, hey, he's out there on the water. I'm like, my brother has been trying to get a hold of people in charge out there to volunteer services or to go out there. And I'm like, hey, it's always commented, hey, bro, your boat's out there ready. Give me the word. You get us permission. We'll come down with our gear and aid. And then just this one guy. It's like, you should just come down here. You don't have to fucking put it on the internet. I'm like, I'm not going to drive fucking 3 hours to get turned away.
Bro.
But he was just do nonstop. And now it's like 400 comments. And then this one woman's calling him racist. Like, it's just snowballing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just going to walk away from this. You guys do your thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, congratulations about your internet prowess. It's really growing. But so where are you from originally? How did you get into all of this?
All right. So I'm from Holliston, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
That's about half hour from Gillette Stadium where the Pats play.
Okay.
Diehard Pats fan. That's where I grew up. I started singing a little later, but I always loved singing at home. I sang in the car. I sang in the shower while I was making breakfast, whatever. That's just what I do. I love to sing constantly, just making sounds essentially. I didn't do it too seriously at school. But I did it at home, and then randomly one day there was like a commercial that was circulating on Nickelodeon. I'm an old Nickelodeon kid, 90s kid, born in 1988, loved Nickelodeon. And there was a commercial that used to be on Nickelodeon. It was an Anne Murray commercial, and it did not belong on Nickelodeon because no one liked Anne Murray. That was that age. But it was on every.
I was born liking Anne Murray.
All right,
Let's
sure.
say that, yeah.
Well, it's not like what you would expect that demographic to
Yeah.
be. And it would play it like every 15 minutes to a half hour that year. And I memorized the whole commercial. I could do it spot on. I could do a spot on.
Which
Anne
commercial
Murray.
are you referring to?
It was just like a greatest hits album for Anne Murray.
Okay.
That's all it was. It was like one of those commercials where it was like 7 CDs or something.
Like it belonged to that
included.
Nick at Night, and they put the wrong time
Right.
slot.
I don't know, but it was
And Murray on Columbia House.
Everyone at school also knew the commercial because we all watched the TV,
Yeah.
so everyone knew it. And one day I was in math class and I busted out the commercial, just like showing my friends, like just did it, and they all started cracking up. But then everyone's kind of just got quiet because I was singing, and they all just listened. And I was in math class. Next thing I know, all the kids from other classes are running into the room to listen to me sing, and I was just performing, and
You
I didn't.
became Anne
I
Murray.
just kind of that's where it started, I would say.
Yeah.
Like the whole
So
I'm
no
a singer.
choir, no chorus class. You were busting balls in math class.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So then what ended up happening was later that day we went to lunch, and they had someone came up to me and said, "Yo, do the Anne Murray commercial." And so I did it at lunch in the cafeteria, and it was the same exact reaction. Everyone at lunch was like, "Holy shit, he can sing!" And all of a sudden, the chorus teacher's walking down, and like the principal's there, like, "Do it again."
You won't.
I just kept singing the Anne Murray commercial, and she her name was Miss Stinson, the choir teacher. She got me involved in chorus at that point. I was in 7th grade. I did the what was it? District choir. I got a solo at districts that year, which is pretty cool.
What was the song?
It was called "Great Day." That was the name of the song.
All right.
I don't know who the composer is. And then I started singing in her choir. So when I graduated from like middle school and I went into high school, there wasn't a choir. There was like a student-run organization,
Mm-hmm.
and it was awful. It was really
Tell
unorganized.
us how you really feel.
I was it was just unorganized. There was no choir director. I wasn't friends with anyone in it. I didn't really feel like they accepted me. I was kind of like a jock type guy.
Did you
and
play
I
football
wasn't-
during
yeah.
this? Okay.
And I just didn't feel like I was accepted into that culture necessarily at
Yeah.
that time. And it just wasn't something I wanted to be involved with. So Miss Stinson ended up starting a community group, essentially because I told her that, there's no choir here. And so she built a nice group. And
Shout out Miss Stenson.
yeah, shout out to Miss Stinson. Huge huge help for me. She built a group, and that's just kind of what I did. It was like an outside of school type thing. Played sports throughout all that, and then randomly my junior year we got a choir. We got Mr. Britton came in, and he started a really nice choir, and he got me to sing in choir at that point. That's when I started.
Was that
actually.
10th grade, 11th grade?
That was 11th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, I ended up. So I played football, but I hurt my back really bad in a skiing accident. I
Didn't see that coming.
I took a bad fall, and my doctor. I had a back doctor for it. I had ended up fracturing a vertebrae, and he was like, "Yeah, probably a good idea not to do football this fall." And so instead, I did the fall musical, and that was my first real musical. And I got a part in the musical. I was Rapunzel's prince in Into the Woods, Stephen Sondheim.
Excellent.
And I mean, I just I'll tell you, I didn't try it all in rehearsal. In rehearsal, I was kind of a mope. Like I just kind of didn't really try too hard. But as soon as there was an audience there,
That was it.
It turned on, and my our director was like, "Dude, you're one of those show stopping."
This guy fucks.
But he was also frustrated with me because he was like, "Dude, you got to try way harder in rehearsal. You got a lot of potential here, but you got to bring it." And I didn't listen to him.
That reminds me of Alvin Iverson. He never really practiced hard.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a game guy. I don't fucking do practice.
I was totally
I'm
a game guy. When the pressure was on, I did great.
Then you do your best.
Yeah, and then the next year I didn't play football again. I decided to do the musical again because I loved it so much. And in fact, a lot of my football friends also they did it too. They were still allowed to play football, but we had this gym scene where we needed people in gym class, and we got the whole football team at that essentially.
Just get involved.
Yeah, to get involved. And it was the same thing with that. I didn't really try in rehearsal, but then I turned it on. And I mean, for that one, I mean, I stole the show with that role. That was my best role in that was Footloose, and that was when I decided.
I love Footloose.
That was when I was like, this is
is
what
for
I'm
you?
doing. This is what I'm doing with my life. That's clearly just what I was best at.
I just want to backtrack a little bit, being that you're a Nickelodeon kid,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
like
Big
we
time.
were. How are you feeling about the Nickelodeon chatter that's happening these days about all the accusations going out there?
How the Nickelodeon splatter looks exactly like
Epstein's Island. It's a lot of controversy.
I don't even know what it is.
You have been following it?
I don't follow it.
Fair enough.
I don't follow a lot of stuff.
That's fair. That's fair.
Better man than us.
When we had the same, I have a similar background with the music. I did chorus 3 when I was in high school and also played football.
Oh, cool.
Our chorus coach was Bernie Laporta. He was the bass player in the band The Happenings.
Okay.
They had the song "See You in September" in the
Yeah.
'60s, like gold record and shit on the wall.
He got the clout.
He was really
he got the
cool.
clout.
We did a lot of cool spring concerts. We did we did one that was all Beatles.
Oh, cool.
It was fantastic. We learned my favorite one was "We Didn't Start the Fire." Learning that song with a piano like in the room with you, it's a different level of that song. It really just
You get that tingle feeling.
it speaks to you.
Definitely. Oh, yeah.
So you graduated. You went on from high school. Where'd you go from there? Did you go to college for this, or did you?
I was a
Career
mess.
change?
I was a mess in high school. I did not have my shit together at all. I was like a class clown. I mean, I used to get suspended a lot. I was always getting into trouble. I was a nice kid,
You
but
seem like a lovable guy.
I was a lovable guy,
All right.
but I kind of walked that line a little bit. And Mr. Britton asked me like, so where are you gonna go to school? And I was like, I want to go to school to do this. And he was like, all right, so where are we thinking? And I was like, I don't know. What do you think? And he's like, wait, you haven't auditioned anywhere? Like, he's like, deadlines are passed, man.
You're way past this.
And I was like, oh no, what do I do? So he started calling schools for me. Like he brought me into his office. He's like, all right, we're gonna call UMass because UMass is right down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So we called them, and they were able to squeeze me in for a last minute audition. And earlier that day, one of my friends who was sitting behind me in Spanish class, Allison Griner Ferris, shout out Allison, she told me about Plymouth State University in New Hampshire. And she was like, yeah, they got a good musical theater department there. And I was like, oh, cool, I should look into that. So I told Mr. Britton, well, let's look at that school. So we got him on the phone, and he talked to Dr. Santori, the chair of the department, and they were able to just get me in quick. Like, sure, we'll get him. We got
him. Yeah.
We got a guy who wants to sing. We need guys. So I went up there. I had no idea how like an audition looked. I'd never done one before.
Because you're a game guy.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
exactly.
you're a game guy, yeah.
Never done it. I go in and they're like, all right, hand your music to the pianist. So I reach into my pocket and I grab this, like, it's like wedged in my pocket. It's a CD.
Wrapped with singles around it, gum.
Karaoke CD. I hand it to the pianist and they're like, what is this? This ain't, no, we need music, like sheet music.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is what I got.
No. Track 17.
Remix this.
I got the CD. And so they were like laughing. Like they're like, oh, this is hilarious. Who is this guy? And so they start searching around the Silver Center, like the Performing Arts Center. And one of the teachers in their office had one of those. You remember those old boom boxes from like the early 2000s? They were like
the small Sonys, the rounded
round
ones.
edge, yeah.
purple,
Yeah.
little purple ones. They grabbed one of them purple boom boxes, little Sonys, and that's what I sang with. I sang "Fly Me to the Moon,"
All right.
Sinatra. And I've got The World on a String. And then for a classical piece, they're like, we need a classical piece. So I sang Amazing Grace, which is not a classical piece. It's a
Gospel.
church hymn.
Yeah, but fantastic choice.
Yeah, that was my classical piece. And needless to say, I got in. And that's what I did. I went to Plymouth State. And I loved it. Had a great
Side
time.
note, is there anywhere on your social media any videos of you singing Amazing Grace?
I don't know. Okay. I don't think so. No.
We need to just...
Yeah, I got to see if I can
If we can
find
get that
one.
going.
Yeah, if we can get that
We
going.
can get that going.
Yeah.
My oldest daughter, she's autistic, and one of her favorite songs is Amazing Grace. And she'll be on YouTube constantly, right? And she'll listen to it in like every language and every rendition of it.
Sure.
So like 3 a.m, I'll hear a North Korean rendition of Amazing Grace. I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
But that's just, that song really just
All tight. I mean,
it's
it
a solid pick.
resonated with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Plymouth State, that's where things kind of came to life for me
All right.
with singing. I was in every show pretty much every semester.
So you're a game guy. Makes sense.
Yeah, I did really, really well my freshman year there. I got into we did the musical Urinetown the musical, and I was one of the only freshmen in the show, which was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And from then on, I was just rolling. I got into a show every semester and got a lot of opportunities. I got to go on a lot of cool concert tours with the choirs there. I had a solo in every one of those. And yeah, I just things took off. Really
From there, you went from college. Then you moved on to now opera.
Yeah, well,
what
that was
you're
its
doing
own
now?
thing. Because I wasn't singing opera at this point.
Yeah.
I was singing like musical theater,
Mhm.
country music, like Sinatra type stuff, R&B, pretty much everything but opera. I got into my a cappella group, Vocal Order, and so I was in an a cappella group. I was singing bass lines. I sang baritone. I was singing tenor for some songs. I was just kind of working through the whole register. And I was really good at mimicking opera singers. And so that's kind of how.
He's drinking, doing Ave Maria at the bar.
Yeah, I was really good at it. And I had a voice teacher, Charles Stanton. And one day, like I used to bring in like Frank Sinatra tunes, and he would help me with it. But then one day he was like, "I want to hear you sing like an opera aria," and he assigned it to me, and I sang it like Frank Sinatra would, right? And he was like, "No, sing like this." So he sang it in like an operatic voice, and I just did it right back. And he was like, "What?"
You mimicked it perfect.
This guy gets it.
He was like, "What?" He's like, "Do that again."
You won't.
And yeah, so opera turned into like a big thing for me, and then it got bigger for me because I did the Vineyard Sound, which is a big group, an a cappella group in Martha's Vineyard, and we did this shtick. It's I think it's a rockapella song called the Zombie Jamboree. And
Rockapella.
Yeah, rockapella.
Who names these things?
And at the
Spot on.
At the end, there's like a shtick part where we kind of vamp and we do funny scenes and skits on stage.
Okay.
And one of them is we're supposed to mimic an opera singer, and so everyone comes in and like we say we sing opera, but like you really couldn't hear anyone but me. And so that we ended up changing the shtick to everyone would start to sing, but then they would all cut off and be like, "Who's that one guy?" And then it would be me, and I'd hold this high note, and they pretend to like blow dart me, and I would like pass out on stage. It was part of the shtick, and like the audience ate it up. They loved it, and this was really when I started to figure out, wow, I think there's a lot of value in singing opera, because like I was getting a lot of reactions from that
For your opera.
Yeah, it's like I could go out there and sing country and sing like I had like an Elton John song I sang, and they loved it. But when I sang opera, I was getting like standing ovations.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
the whole place was just erupting.
Because not everyone can do it. It's
Right.
its own thing.
And when you're good, you reach down to someone's soul.
Right.
What when you say a voice coach, what does that consist of?
All right. So in voice, there's coaches and there's teachers.
Okay.
And a coach is someone who helps you with interpretation. They're going to help you come up with more of like what a song means to you.
Okay.
And then they're going to help you utilize that and add it to your singing, apply that to your singing.
Gotcha.
And so like dynamics, getting soft at some spots, maybe really elongating like a consonant here, maybe changing a vowel slightly here to make it more pingy or something. And it's always, in my opinion, it should always be to express the text and the emotion of the song. Now, a voice teacher is different. They're going over the pedagogical side of things. They're going over pedagogical, so like the educational side of it, like how the voice actually works.
All right.
And so as a voice teacher, I go over the musculature.
You yourself are a voice teacher now.
I'm both.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm both. I do a lot of coaching and I do a lot of voice teaching, and that's a big part of my life right now as well.
It's teaching and coaching.
Is that a separate
huge.
bill?
Yeah.
Meaning if somebody comes to you for that, you're separate. There's not like one thing.
Yeah, it's separate.
Okay.
It's all, yeah.
So
Yep.
can I get voice coaching and voice teaching?
Yes.
Separate bills.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're really diversifying your portfolio.
Yeah. So, sorry, where were we?
You were talking the
Acapella.
acapella, and then going into more into opera.
So I started seeing a lot of value with that. I mean, in Vineyard Sound, we have this big concert at the end of the year. It's called the Old Whaling Church. It's like the Old Whaling Church concert. It's I think it's just like Farewell to Summer, I think is what it's called. It's at the end of the summer.
Now, does anyone can go to this?
And-
That people can get tickets?
Yeah, you get tickets to it.
Okay.
And it sells out every year, and there's usually people standing in the back. It's like a big deal on Martha's Vineyard.
Okay.
And at that point, I think one other person had gotten a standing ovation at Old Whaling at that point, and it was a long time ago at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And they wrote an arrangement for me. This Nearly Was Mine. It's from South Pacific. It's kind of opera. It's kind of musical theater. I sang it as if it was a full-blown opera aria with the a cappella group.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, the place erupted. We got the biggest standing ovation I think that place has ever had. And that was just like, my dad was there. It was pretty cool. Like, he was all excited about it. And, like, that was a big moment for me. Like, that was one of those big moments where I'm like, I think we just got to go full-blown opera here.
Yeah.
And so that next school year, my voice teacher, Kathleen Arecki, she just started signing me up for competitions, and I was winning them. She was flying me around. She was getting me plane tickets. The president of the school at Plymouth State for my birthday got me a tuxedo. It was like they were all in on me.
It sounds like since you've started on this road, you've had some solid teachers supporting and pushing you.
Massive support. Support system.
And usually you hear, it's really refreshing because usually teachers, in my opinion, don't get enough credit ever.
I
And
agree.
people tell stories about how they made it. And you always hear the story, and it's they did it. I did this, I did that, I did this, and I'm not hearing that from you. I'm hearing this person helped me, this person helped me, this person helped me. It's really nice
I always
to hear the
credit where
homage being paid out like that.
Where credit's due, you
Yeah.
gotta give it. Yeah, and in Plymouth State, I had some amazing instruction. I had my conductor, Dr. Dan Perkins. He was phenomenal. My pianist, Alan DiBiase, was absolutely incredible. Dr. Arecki, she was amazing. President of the school, so yeah. Yeah, so anyways, started doing competitions. I was winning them. And I went to the American Traditions competition in Savannah, Georgia, and I had won the People's Choice Award, and I got selected to do this like really cool master class where I was like a student, and I got to work with this guy Cheryl Milnes, American baritone, and at the time he was my idol. He just happened to be the judge at this, and I just got lucky, and all of a sudden he's teaching me. It was pretty baller.
That's incredible.
And it was incredible. And I sang Handel's Messiah, Thus Saith the Lord. It's a really, really hard oratorio piece. It's kind of it's operatic, but it's not an opera. It's an oratorio, which just means it's like in a concert setting.
I'm glad you followed through because I'm like, what the hell?
So yeah, oratorios, you just go out with a tuxedo, you got your music in your hand. There's no costumes, there's no wigs, right?
Okay.
And I sang that, and he coached me on it in front of an audience. And then at the end, he was like, "Are you auditioning, or are you competing in the Boston Nats competition this year?" And I was like, "I don't know. Yeah,
I'm busy that
I
day.
am now, yeah.
sure." So I called Dr. Arecki, and I say, Cheryl Milnes said I should audition, or I should compete in Boston Nats. And so she signed me up right then and there. I ended up winning first place at Boston Nats.
Wow.
And in the audience was the New England Conservatory, and they offered me a scholarship, a full-ride scholarship, right then and there. And I got a stipend, and I got to, all of a sudden now I'm going to get my master's for opera. The problem was I hadn't graduated Plymouth State yet, and I had failed the piano proficiency. I couldn't play piano.
Can you play piano now?
I can now, but at the time I couldn't.
Right.
And that was going to be the reason I couldn't go.
Oh.
And so we had to rewrite my degree to do a vocal performance degree that doesn't include piano. But like,
Yeah,
they
your
had never.
your
so
teachers are really fucking
They had-
So
coming
it was
hard.
custom degree.
This was custom.
Wow.
It was a custom degree to get me so that I could go to NEC. Massive shout out. I mean, I'm telling you, man, like that to me, that's logic though. It's like those are teachers that are thinking logically. They're not just being like, no, we got to be by the book here. It's like
know.
it's like if they hadn't done that, what could have happened? You know what I mean?
Yeah, where would you be after that?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like that was good on them for
Yeah.
doing like that's what I would do today. if
Real
I was-
teachers.
Yeah, real
Yeah.
teachers. They did what they had to do to make it so that a young man could succeed, and that's all you could possibly ask for. So I went to NEC, the New England Conservatory. At the time, it was one of the top conservatories in the world. I think at the time we were actually rated ahead of Juilliard.
No big deal.
And a lot of the teachers were actually at Juilliard and NEC. So a lot of the coaches that I got to work with also were working at Juilliard. And so there's a lot of crossovers there.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, at the time, I considered Juilliard kind of like our big brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
And I felt like a huge imposter when I got to NEC, because here we are, we're at like the big top dog conservatory. All these other singers there are legit opera singers that have been doing it for way longer than me. They did their undergraduate full-blown opera. I'll tell you, they certainly weren't failing their piano proficiency.
Yeah.
And here I am, I'm feeling like an imposter. Like, I don't know shit about opera. I just did it in my acapella
But you're
group.
good
You know
at
what
it,
I mean?
yeah.
I'm just good at it. And we went in I remember standing in the hallway listening to these auditions. It was the beginning of the year auditions to determine everything that was going to happen for you that year. And I'm hearing all these epic singers out in the hallway. I'm just like, oh man, what am I in for? I go in there and I sing Handel's Messiah again, same aria as I did. That got me the scholarship.
Yeah.
And I guess I did well, because afterwards we did a little meet and greet with everyone kind of met each other. We got to meet the conductor, Stephen Lord, and he came right up to me in front of everyone and he's like, "You're going to make a lot of money." I was like, no shit. I was like, thank you so much, Maestro. Yeah, like it was just awesome. He's like, yeah, you're gonna go far in this field. He did. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with him doing that because he said it in front of everyone. It was
That's
like
okay.
the
That's
whole
okay.
crew
You,
heard.
got, you gotta get the credit where it's due.
Sure.
I guess opera doesn't really do. Was it praise in private, discipline in public?
Sure.
Whatever the hell that is.
Well, he did that, and from then on, like I was just, I had a lot of confidence there at NEC. That set the tone for me. I didn't really feel as much like an imposter anymore.
Not when you get that kind of recommendation.
I had an amazing voice teacher, Michael Marat. I had amazing coaches, my coach
Now,
Damien.
you've come so far from where you started. Now today, you do yourself as you teach voice, and you
Yep.
do. Do you still have a voice coach today?
Yeah.
So you never get over that. Not get over it, but you always ready to improve yourself and keep honing your skill.
I married a voice coach.
Solid.
Wow.
I wanted to marry a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
That was always my plan because tattoos are fucking expensive. Does she charge you for?
In a way.
All right. Well, hello, Mr. Big Brev.
Let's just say dishes are every night for my house.
Now Big Brev makes sense.
Yeah.
I get it now.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
Jen, my wife Jen, she. So I also I forgot to mention I had failed music theory.
Okay.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't do the theory
Because
at
it wasn't a
first.
theory. You're living it now in reality.
I
It's not a
couldn't.
theory.
I couldn't do it.
I don't practice.
We were analyzing.
Yeah, I don't practice.
Analyzing Bach chorales and like all this stuff. I didn't get it. I was so lost. And what I hated about that class was everyone in there knew it but me. And so like as soon as you would ask a question, everyone would shout out answers, and I was in the back not getting it. And I was like, screw this. So I kind of just stopped going. Got an F.
Makes sense.
Went to Dr. Santori, the chair of the department, when I failed.
And
I
said
was-
me scusi.
Again, I was such a mess, and I was like, hey man, I'm so sorry, I failed. Is there anything I can do to fix this?
You got a little extra credit.
And he was like, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put you into theory 2. You still got an F for 1, but if you get a B or higher in theory 2, I'll change it to a C. Is that fair? So I was like, screw it.
It's a solid deal.
It put a chip on my shoulder. I went in to class that next day, and I just pointed to Jen because Jen knew her shit. She was really cute, and I just said, "You,
You're mine now."
If I ever daydream or start doodling or just days off, just whack me. Just hit me upside the head." And she giggled. It was half flirting, half like, "I really need your help here." And she ended up like helping me a lot, and she tutored me in theory. And
So you met your wife now
mhm.
in college.
Yep.
She helped during classes. Now she's still helping you today?
Yes. And I help her. We both help each other.
Oh.
I'm a coach. She's a coach, right?
I feel a lot of like destiny coming from him.
Yeah.
Like just
The word I want to use it.
Hope so.
I'm going to use it though. Serendipitous. I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
I said it.
Yeah.
I said it.
So yeah, she helped me get through theory, and then when we got to theory 4, because
What happened to 3?
There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Theory 3 was challenging for both of us, but
Okay,
we got
alright.
through it together.
Alright.
By the time we got to 4, essentially what we were learning to do was break all the rules that we had already learned, and we started going into composers that were breaking all the rules. And for some reason, that clicked for me.
Like the bad boys of composing.
The bad boys.
Yeah, leather jackets.
It
Got
clicked
it.
for me, and by theory 4, I would say I was helping her more than she was helping me.
Because you understood being a bad boy. You got it.
I got it.
Yeah,
That
I
was-
got you.
Yeah,
You were raised by Uncle Jesse. You know it.
exactly.
Understood.
I got it. And so by the end of NEC now, which was my master's, I got my master's in this.
You're just
I
flying
was-
through schools now.
I went to Stephen Lord. Shout out to Stephen Lord. At the time, he was top 25 most powerful names in opera. He was one of only 4 conductors on that list. He was like my.
Was he a bad
he was
boy
my
of
mentor.
conducting?
Was he a what?
Was he a bad boy of conductors?
What do you mean by that?
I don't know. Did we learn about him in Theory 4?
Oh no.
Ah.
So that was composers. He's a conductor.
Oh,
he's
I'm
the
so
guy.
sorry. So
He's the
sorry.
guy that's conducting, right? And those people are very, very important. Conductors
Mm-hmm.
are key. If you have a bad conductor,
Maestro.
you need a good maestro. The whole place will fall apart with a bad one. So just
Gotcha.
to get that out there, because some people don't know that. They think, who's that guy waving his arms? We don't need
Honestly,
him.
I was one of those people. I didn't think it was that
He's-
big of a
I
deal.
learned about that in Seinfeld.
Dude, the conductor.
They
Yes.
made him call Maestro.
Yeah, the maestro. Yeah. The maestro's so important. Stephen Lord, he has had since then some unfortunate things happen to him. He got canceled. So a lot of people are going to be watching this and they're going to be like, oh, but I can't tell my story without talking about Stephen Lord and what he did for me.
I have so
Change
many.
the past.
I have so many questions now.
He did a lot. He did a lot
I want to ask him.
for me. And in this moment, what he did was he got me an audition for the Opera Theater of St. Louis, which is at the time one of the most
Now-
successful opera companies in the world.
I do have a question about when it comes to location.
Sure.
So being opera as big as it is, I always think of like Italy, right?
Yeah, it's huge there.
I imagine it is here as well
All over
there.
Europe.
But where do the big top dogs in the United States go?
Right here, Metropolitan Opera.
Okay, New York.
Yep.
Got
Yep.
it.
In New York, sorry, yep. Chicago, the Lyric
Chicago.
Opera Chicago, Opera Theater of St. Louis, Santa Fe Opera, LA Opera, Seattle, Boston, the Boston Lyric Opera.
Okay.
And there's more. There's more.
So it's not
I'm
like
leaving a lot of-
the opera of Boise, Idaho.
Right.
Gotcha.
When you go to Germany, though, it is like that, where almost like every town seems to have their
Have
own
one?
company.
Okay.
Yeah, and like it's a great place to go if it's not working here. You can go over there, and you'll probably find a path for you that'll work for you over there.
Oh, just jump in U.S. and go into
A lot of
David,
people do
David
that.
Hasselhoff it.
A lot of
Yeah.
people head out of here and go to Europe if it's not working here. and they carve out a path. And then sometimes they end up back here because they built themselves a nice little career and they played the game the right way, and now they're on some of the bigger stages.
Have
out
you
here.
ever been to Europe and done this in Europe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that part. Continue.
So, anyways, so he got me Stephen Lord got me an audition with the Opera Theater of St. Louis, and Stephen Lord was the music director there. However, that year he was going on sabbatical, so he wasn't actually going to be there, but he still thought it was important that I go there. So I auditioned for the Opera Theater of St. Louis, and I didn't get in.
Whoa, bet they regret that now.
And I texted Stephen, and I said, thank you so much, Maestro, for the opportunity. Unfortunately, I didn't get in. And he texted me back and says, you didn't get in?
You're so nicer than I am. I'm
And
like,
then-
what the fuck?
5 minutes later, I got an email that I was in.
Huh. Funny how that works.
Funny how that works. Well, I'll tell you what it did to me is put a big old chip on my shoulder. And what I did, which NEC didn't like, was I turned down the role they had offered me. I also said, I'm not doing my master's recital this semester. I'm focusing on Opera Theater of St. Louis and only Opera Theater of St. Louis.
Put a pin
And
in it for
I
me.
was only in chorus. They didn't give me a nice assignment at all. I was just singing chorus. But I was like, screw it. I'm going to be the best chorus singer they've ever had. I'm going to show up completely memorized, off book, ready to go from the get. And that's what I did. And we were supposed to have 2 weeks to rehearse this music when we got there. And when I got there, the director came in. He says, "Guys, I'm so sorry. I know we're supposed to have a couple weeks here, but unfortunately, we got to get into staging tomorrow." And everyone's like, "Tomorrow?" I'm not.
And
even
you already
memorized.
ahead of the game. You
Dude,
already
I
rock
was
and roll.
memorized. I was like, "Hell yeah, this is my moment. This is why
You're a
I
game
did."
guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
like
a game guy.
Kobe.
So we get into rehearsals, and I just brought it. And the director, Sean Curran, shout out Sean Curran, he loved what I was bringing. And he was like, "Danny, come up here. Do that thing again. Do this again." Everyone watched Danny. It was like turned into like the Danny show for the chorus members here.
You were the best chorus member they had.
I mean, I wasn't the best. I was just probably at that point the most prepared. I was probably the only one who turned down roles and recitals to get ready for this moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely wasn't the best, but like I was bringing it. And like I'm a shtick kind of guy. I'm funny, and that was a comedic opera. It was Pirates of Penzance. It's a Gilbert and Sullivan funny comedic operetta. And yeah, because of that summer, by the end of that, they came up and they said, "We were really impressed with your work. We want to write an opera for you by a famous composer, and you're going to be singing it along next to a very famous mezzo-soprano. Her name's Stephanie Blythe. She's a huge deal. She's a household name in opera. And the composer was Ricky Ian Gordon, who's also a household name. And also, you are going to be featured on the cover of Opera News." Now, Opera News is the biggest magazine in classical music at the time. I'm like 24, 25 years old, I think, somewhere in there. And this just happened so fast. Like I went from being the kid singing a cappella to less than 2 years later, this happening.
Yeah.
And it just happened very quickly for me. I think it happened a little faster than I would have liked. I think if it had happened slower, I could have even made more out of these opportunities.
Yeah.
But it happened the way it did, and it formed that really right there is what got me my opera career just up and running from the
I
get.
have to find a copy of this
Yeah,
magazine.
yeah.
I'm gonna get it autographed.
That might.
I'm gonna find it.
That
I'll
might
find
be
it.
tough at this point. but
You
yeah.
bet. You'll be surprised it's on
You'll be
eBay.
surprised.
You can find
Someone-
anything in
Yeah.
New York.
Someone's got it. I'll
Yeah.
find it.
In that opera, amazing singers: Stephanie Blythe, Elizabeth Futrall, Tobias Greenhall, and Theo LeBeau. Those are like the and then me. We were a crew. We were a nice crew there. We were all on the cover of Opera News together for that. It was a special moment. We made an album with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra, and it was just one of those pivotal moments. And I'm still very, very good friends with Ricky Ian Gordon, the composer. I actually just saw him this past weekend, and so that was the big moment for me. I would say that was my big break.
That's
Wow.
that. Now today you're still singing opera.
Yeah, but not as much.
Now, why is that? Is that by choice or just
Yeah.
the industry
Yeah, it's by
slowing
choice.
down?
The career life, like traveling all over, going to Europe, going to St. Louis or to Chicago or wherever. I wanted to lay down some roots and like buy a house, and I got a great opportunity. The Hart School of Music, University of Hartford. They reached out to me one day randomly. I'd made a Facebook post about a student that I had been working with on the side, and they were like, "Hey, we didn't realize you teach voice. We need a voice teacher. Would you be interested?" At the time, I couldn't do it. I had a full schedule coming up, but a year went by, and I reached out, and I was like, "Do you still need a teacher? Because that's something I'd be interested in." They flew me out. I did my audition. It was really my first time doing a voice lesson of that caliber. Like, it was kind of scary. But luckily, they picked a baritone that had sang a song I had sang before. So I knew the text so well. I knew the music so well. I had a lot of insight on the composer and just the song. And I knocked it out of the park. I got the job. And so now that's also what I do. I teach at the University of Hartford. I teach voice, and I've been doing that now for 6-7 years.
You have your own parking spot?
I got my own parking spot.
All right. Let's go make sure you're treating it right over there. All
Does
right.
it say Big Brev on it?
Nope.
I know a guy. We can make that happen.
Yeah.
Have you always been Big Brev? Like that?
Yeah.
It's
So
always been a
yeah,
nickname?
I was Brev.
Right.
Brev was taken. I'm a big Brev for Instagram. And yeah, there's one kid I met in Nantucket that for whatever reason he always called me Big Brev. He was like, Big Brev, it's great to see you, man. And when I was like trying to figure out what's Brev? Brev's taken. Underscore Brev, taken. Underscore Brev, underscore, that sucks. So I immediately thought of him.
00 Brev.
Yeah, Tyler McDade, Big Brev. So that's just what I went with. Yeah. Yeah. So where are we now? Now we're teaching.
We're teaching,
We're
yeah.
teaching.
Hartford.
I'm doing gigs here and there, like over the summer break, winter break. I did a tour in like the UK. I was just doing things here and there,
staying busy.
staying in the game, but also still teaching. Then COVID hits, right? Opera career derails entirely. No gigs, teaching just online, right? And at this point, no one's hearing me sing. And so I started posting stuff on Facebook, like my little Facebook.
Yeah.
How many friends you got on Facebook? You know what I mean? Like
I have 7.
exactly. Sure.
How difficult is that to teach voice over computer? Because isn't like that's really in person thing, isn't it? Same.
Doesn't need to be anymore. Like we figured it out. Yeah,
You don't.
cracked
There's
the
no
code.
like weird pickups and sound and stuff.
There
'cause
can
it's
be.
Over. Okay.
there can be. Yeah. My ear's pretty trained enough at this point
Right.
because now, like COVID, you got to figure. Like, geez, what was that? 4 years ago? 5?
Yeah. 4.
4.
Yeah.
So now, like, I'm used to it.
I
Like,
still wear a mask.
yeah.
On Zoom calls.
Yes.
On Zoom calls.
Honestly, at first, I wasn't a huge fan, but as I just started getting more and more used to it, like, sometimes it's funny. There's some students who do better on Zoom, and some students,
They're not nervous.
and then there's some that do
Yeah.
better in person.
Introverts. Yeah.
And I have actually found that like sometimes even a really good mix is to do some of both. Sometimes you don't have that option. Like if they're in like say Australia, I'm not able to go out there to teach them. I got to
Right.
teach them online, right?
Yeah.
But at this point, I had never done any of this. There was no Instagram, there was no TikTok. I was just a guy out of work teaching Zoom lessons, right? And so I started singing Ricky Ian Gordon, the composer I told you. I started singing some of his music just for fun on my Facebook to kind of keep that network going. And people loved it. And one of my students was like, yo, you got to start doing like TikToks. I was like, I don't.
TikTok's worth
I
that.
was like, yo, I don't need social
I don't
media.
talk.
I'm not doing social media.
Big Brev don't talk.
We don't talk. Well, her and then a few others and also my wife just kept nagging me about it. All of a sudden, the Wellerman came out with the sea shanties and they were crushing it.
Yeah.
And Jen was like, check this out. And she'd play Wellerman for me and I'd be like, oh, I know I should be
I
in
could
there.
do that so bad.
would-
Thank
I
you,
would love
Elon
to-
Musk, for making shanties big time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, shanties are huge.
Yeah.
They're massive.
Well, hold on. What?
He's on a Rogan podcast
Yeah.
years ago. He said he's really into sea shanties.
He did, yeah.
And, like they played one, and that's all he listened to. He says. But
Yeah.
now all of a sudden, like the market went from like a little smaller market to exploded.
Yeah. And it was specifically the song The Wellerman, I think, that he
Right.
dropped.
All right.
So I wasn't doing sea shanties. I was just singing everything at first on TikTok and seeing what would stick. My first video did pretty well. It got like 50,000 views, and that
Oh.
was why I saw so much value now with TikTok. I was
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm singing for no one right now, but when I sing a 30-second clip on TikTok, I mean, I'm getting 50,000 views.
50,000
As
people looked
silly
at it.
as TikTok was at the time, like I thought it was a silly little thing that kids played on.
I still
But,
think
like,
it's silly, by the way.
But it's still a little silly.
Still silly.
But if you can get 50,000 people to smile, that's worth it.
Yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that one.
And so, like, I started doing TikToks, and I didn't have a ton of followers at first. Like, I was, probably lingering around like 1,000 to 2,000 followers. And then on New Year's, I was like, you know what? My resolution this year is to just go full blown. Let's build a platform.
Big Brev
And,
talks now.
And so I was like, every day I'm going to post a TikTok every day, just something to me singing. And so I did it every single day. And by like day 6, I had 40,000 followers. It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
40,000 people.
That's more than 50. I know that.
Exactly.
I know that much.
And so I just kept going with it.
Yeah.
Eventually, the guys from the Wellerman, they noticed me.
Okay.
They did. Bobby Bass. He's the arranger of Hoist the Colors, right?
That's a name.
He that is a name.
Does he
Shout
sing
out,
bass?
Shout out Bobby Bass.
Bass.
He's
My
got
boy.
he's got a bar stool somewhere in some state.
Dude,
Bobby
a brass
Bass
tack on it.
Yeah.
Bobby Bass.
He's the man. He was doing a TikTok live one day. I happened to stumble upon it. I said, "What's up, Bobby?" in the comments, and he immediately gave me a shout out. And I just gotta say, like, that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about people giving people credit where credit's due. I think it's similar with that too. It's like
A good shout out. Yeah.
a good shout out coming from someone just tells you a little bit about their character.
Seems like that damn Destiny again.
And he gave me a shout out, and I immediately was like, Bobby, how do I get involved with one of these collaborations? Like, is there an audition process? And he just says, that's all you had to do. And he takes his notebook out, he writes my name down, and that's all I knew. And all of a sudden, he's emailing me and being like, hey, we're doing a Hoist the Colors collaboration.
Be available.
Wow.
And we'd love to have you sing some of the higher harmonies, maybe some bass, some tenor, whatever you want to do.
So Bobby Bass is telling you sing some bass.
Exactly.
Oh, that's impressive.
He sent me the demo, and randomly I was at my mom's lake house one weekend up in Maine, and we got a message from Bobby. It's like, guys, we got to get it done this weekend. It's hot right now because it was trending right then and there. And he was like, let's get it out while it's hot. And so, like, shit, I'm in Maine. I don't have a microphone. Like, I don't have any gear.
That seems like a good place
Yeah.
though for the feeling on a lake.
Sure, but you need your gear, man. So I had my computer, but I didn't have a microphone. So I had to go out and get a $15 microphone.
From the corner market.
I had to wait for the whole family to go to bed. We're at a lake house. It's loud.
Yeah.
Everyone's running around, kids, sleeping all over the house, right? Everyone's finally asleep. I go down into the basement, and I recorded all my parts right then and there. Just did it right then and there. Sent them out to Bobby. Got up the next morning, realized no one else had done it. Weekend went by. No one else had done it. A week had gone by. Still, the only parts on that Google Drive were mine. I was like, oh, this is hilarious.
I thought we had to do it because it was hot.
I thought we had to do it. It was hot. So Bobby had done his parts. I had done mine. But then they started kind of trickling in. Everyone got their parts done. Bobby mixed it. And that was that first wave. We put it on
Yeah.
YouTube. We got 1 million views on the YouTube video.
Wow.
We probably got like 1 million streams.
Was that your first YouTube video?
It's not on my channel. It's on Bobby's channel. But
Okay, but the first one you were
yes.
on?
Yeah.
And they got 1 million.
Yeah. And then the stream, the Spotify got 1 million too. And all of a sudden, it just kept slowly climbing. Eventually, it was like 3 million, both of them. They were going together. 4 million, 5 million. And then randomly, the North Sea came out. And you guys saw the North Sea videos.
yes.
It just blew up. It went crazy. Like, now on North Sea, because of North Sea, we have over 2 billion streams of that sound just on TikTok alone. And then it's got 20 million on Spotify, plus the YouTube video has 20 million. It went nuts. And everyone who was following me on my account, they knew it was me. They associate me with that now.
I send you videos constantly right here.
Right.
I go, hey, here you are.
Right. And so, like, yeah, it's a big part of the marketing now, right?
So how do you feel about the possible ban of TikTok?
Yeah, it sucks.
How do you feel about this?
It sucks. I don't feel good about
I feel
it.
terrible about it.
At first, I was kind of like, whatever. Like, luckily, I got the Instagram. I have more followers on Instagram than I do
Okay.
TikTok. But, I mean, I got 500 million people following me on TikTok. You know what I mean? That sucks.
Yeah.
So that's my thought on it.
That's
as far
it.
as
It
like
sucks.
as far as like
Fuck you, government.
politics and stuff, I don't really do politics, so it sucks.
Listen, I
all I
don't do
got.
politics either.
Right.
I was telling you about us losing our spot. Like, politics. What happened?
Yeah,
I don't
but
know. Fuck politics.
It's yeah,
If
exactly.
they pass that bill that does more than just shut down TikTok, they can shut down anything they want.
Right.
Social
Well, I
media,
don't like that.
websites.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
That's
I
the
have-
dangerous part.
I have opinions on that.
Yeah, First
And
Amendment.
also-
What the hell?
And they're also putting something in it where it will force any non-American companies to sell to American companies.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
Jesus.
Wow.
that's why it's dangerous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that sucks.
It's a big overreach.
Yeah, I don't like that.
and it's funny. You think about how this country started. People threw tea in harbor for a lot less, and nowadays we're just giving up freedoms and giving up a whole bunch of stuff, and we're just like, oh, okay, everyone's cool with it.
Right.
Like here, one individual who's worked countless hours to build up a brand on a platform.
Oh yeah, there's
For
many,
them to go click, and we're good.
there's so many of us out
Yeah.
there too. Like we depend on it. Yeah.
Now, is there a good not to get into your finances because I won't do that to you,
Yeah.
but is there a good revenue stream
Yeah.
on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Through this because of the streams, also because of my online coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, do you offer online coaching on TikTok?
Yeah. Well, I have an online studio.
Okay.
It's called Studio Brev. It has
Studio Brev.
We have our own. We have like our own app. It's it's through it's through school, but it's like a Studio Brev. Like it has its own app on it. And yeah, I get to work with students one-on-one on Zoom.
Now, are you booked up, or can people listening to this?
Yeah,
Partake.
there's an audition process,
Okay.
and so they go to the link in my bio
Mhm.
and they sign up for an audition in there. Yeah,
I'm gonna sign up for
And
it.
it's
And,
Big Brev across all your media?
Yeah.
Okay.
How'd your Facebook turn out? Did you bump those numbers up?
yeah. Facebook's at like 176,000.
It's a lot better than
yeah.
my 7. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Right now, Instagram's at like 660, 670.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lot of gripes with Instagram. I cannot, for the life of me, figure it out. It just makes no sense.
You're doing great on Instagram, aren't you?
Yeah, but still, I don't get it. I don't understand it.
You're doing something right.
And all
I would like to understand
Stick
it.
to it.
All
Yeah,
of our
you're right.
followers-
Though.
I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Like, I would really like to understand. Okay, like I heard 2 years ago, right? If you hashtagged Easter, the word Easter,
Yeah.
you got shadow banned for 2 weeks.
What?
Yeah. Like
I
I
heard
knew.
it though. Did you test it?
I don't know. I'm not crazy enough for that. No, I ain't trying to get intentionally shadow banned.
Yeah.
Um,
Good point.
Like,
I wouldn't test
it
it
used
either.
to be where you want a lot of hashtags. Now you're not supposed to use more than 5.
I don't agree.
and-
I don't agree with that. Don't
No?
agree with that.
You hashtag-
I spam the hashtags, and I get millions of views. You
go
know?
crazy with the hashtags.
My Valhalla Calling video has well over 20 million views, and it's got I don't know how many hashtags in it. I did them all. I did ginger beard, Viking beard, singer, Viking singer, just anything you can think of.
But I also feel like if you're gonna have something go viral, no matter what
It's gonna
tagged in there,
happen.
it's gonna happen no matter what.
You ever sit there and you're
Right.
doing your hashtags? I mean, my wife do this a lot, right? So I'd be like, Diddy Diddler, right? And I'm like, ha, ha, ha. That was a good one. And then she'll come back and give me another one. I'm like, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And the kids are in bed, and we're just like going over hashtags. Phone's down. We're done. We're posting.
Oh, come on.
And we're still hashtagging. She's like, oh, what about this?
Yeah, that's on another level. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't do that. But
You don't do that? It's
I
a good
love.
time.
I'm going to start doing
It's
that.
a good time.
We're going to pick that one
It
up.
really is a good time, and
Yeah.
it's like our quality time because it's so stupid. We end up laughing a lot
Yep.
about it. And I don't, are you a parent by any chance?
No.
Well, as a parent, I've noticed once the kids are in bed and everything settles down, to get that transition from we're parents to go from parents to partners to friends,
Yeah.
and to make that transition, I found it was very difficult because you sit down, you're like,
Sure.
okay, this one has this appointment tomorrow, this one does this, but as stupid as it is, that little bit would jumpstart the laughter where we're no longer parents, we're friends, it's fun, we're laughing about it. If we're done, we're posted.
Yep.
She revised and made sure the spelling was correct, and I'm dyslexic, so
Awesome.
I'm like, comma's
Yeah,
good,
I'm bad at that.
good
too.
on periods, right? She goes all over that, and then we'll post it, and we'll still do it.
That's
And then
awesome.
it's really nice because she'll be like, how we do? What kind of views we got? I'm like, first of all, we don't have anything. I have 21,000.
Yeah.
She's like, no, we did that. Half that comedy is mine.
Right.
So it's nice to have that back and forth, the hashtags. But I do like to think of them. And then as I say them out loud, I'm like, ha ha, that was a good one. And I never use it. I forget it.
Right.
I got to write it down.
You got to write them down.
I don't.
Get a little, or just the voice memo app on the phone. Save
Yeah.
it into the phone. That's it. Quick.
I don't use. I don't think me and our generation of, like, I'm 36, almost 37, and we're that age where we can set a VCR timer. We know, and we can use a phone. We're good with
Yep.
it, but we're not as advanced as like a 20-year-old with the iPhones. Now they're showing me things. They're like, oh, do this,
I know.
do that. I'm like,
I know, man.
what's that? What's that about?
Yeah.
They do something by accident. Oh, I'll be a son of a
Yeah.
bitch.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm not really that great with computers.
No, I don't even own a laptop.
Yeah.
I had to do
I
a-
got the laptop now,
You
but
got
I'm
one?
not good with it. Yeah.
I had to do a Zoom interview with Inside Access, and I had no idea how to set it up. I'm like,
yeah. It can.
took a
can
minute.
Get really confusing.
yeah, I was very confused.
And the settings too. Yeah.
My daughter, she's 8 years old. She did it.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
Quick. Yeah.
Yeah, I was driving with her on the
Isn't it?
shore one day, and you have navigation that talks to you.
Yeah.
And every time it would come on, it'd be the best part of her song. She's a big Swiftie, so she's listening to Taylor Swift, and it would turn off. They make a left here. And she's like, Dad, you got to turn that off. I'm like, I don't know how to. And she leans over and goes, boop.
Yeah.
I was like, huh, asshole. You know you're a parent when you call your kids an asshole.
My dad, when I was growing up, I had a stereo in my Bronco. It was my first car. Was a Bronco.
Bronco 1 or 2? Well, you're big Brev. You're the
Original.
full size.
Yeah, full size.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah,
sense.
come on.
Eddie Bauer. Thing was sick.
Yo, I had an Eddie
Dude.
Bauer, a blue one.
Dope.
My
Mine was
man.
blue.
Whoa, twinning,
look at
twin
that.
dragon.
But it had this. It came with the stereo in it. There was no buttons. It was like a remote. There was a remote you had to play with. It was called the egg remote, and you could stick it to the dashboard, and you could like play
It's
with
like this, like a toggle?
it. Yeah.
Okay.
And my dad was trying to shut the music off, and he just started bashing it, just hitting it. He's like, "How do you shut this stupid thing
voice
off?"
activated.
And I was
Tell
like,
it off.
"Dad, it's this simple." I grabbed the remote and I just boop. Now I'm that.
Now you're
now
that.
I'm that one.
How do you
Like,
turn it off?
with my laptop? When I'm trying to make songs on the I'm terrible at making music on my laptop. Like a lot of my songs that have gone viral, I did them on my laptop, but I did them like the old-fashioned way. Like all my buddies, they're good at mixing. They can go in, they can find a specific frequency and boost it, and they can like play all these games, and they can do it so fast because they just do one take, and if it's not perfect, they can make it perfect.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. I just gotta sing it until it's perfect over and over again, and then finally I'm like, all right, boom, we got it, and then I just hit it. That's it. Don't touch anything else because if I touch it, I might delete it accidentally, and then it's
Done
gone.
that,
Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'd love to get better at it, but there might not be that much hope.
That's all my videos for Instagram. I just do it till I get it perfect. No
Yeah,
editing. No
right.
editing at all.
Right.
47
Yeah,
takes
I
on my
gotta
phone.
go back and delete all the old videos.
I don't delete them. I leave them. I remember that I suck.
I just pay more money for storage.
Yeah. Right.
$1.99, totally worth it. Now, yo, you're doing, I mean, absolutely fantastic on social media. If you were going to give someone getting into it a piece of advice that you wish you were told, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I would just give them the advice that what I did. I just post every day. Don't wait for it to come to you because I've had some people be like, "Yeah, I want to do it, but I haven't thought of anything yet." It's like,
Yeah.
dude, just get on there and do something.
Yeah.
Just do it. Force it.
Yeah.
It's going to happen eventually. Post every day. You're going to figure out what you like to do and what people like to watch. You're going to figure out how to entertain. Just do it. Just get after it. Do it every day. Eventually you'll get good at it. That's what I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, that would be my advice. Just get after it. Because, like, for me, I'm a singer. Not everyone listening to this, I would imagine that a very small percentage of people listening to this are specifically here for singing.
Singing,
right? Mine was for singing. Like, if someone was like, yeah, I'm really good at juggling, that's what I do. I'd be like, well,
juggle.
play around with it. Do it with, like, a glow-in-the-dark juggling balls. I don't know. Do something different.
I'm a juggler.
Like-
How many girlfriends you got? You got 6 girlfriends? Now you're a juggler. All right? Juggle that shit around.
So that would be my advice. Just
All right.
find out what it is you love to do and
Now,
start filming it.
my
Put it
favorite
up
part
there.
of the podcast is coming up.
Okay.
This is where I ask the guest. The rules are very simple. A story you heard, something you witnessed, or something that was secondhand. Now, of the worst bathroom experience.
Easy. I got it easy.
Oh, that a dude wipe.
Easy.
These guys would come in handy.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
big breath.
God.
What do you got?
Those would come in handy big time. Dude wipes?
All the time.
Oh, all right. So I had made, I had carved out a little concert tour I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go to third world countries and bring opera to people who would never, ever get a chance.
Not water, opera.
And-
Got it.
Yeah, sure. Not water.
water.
Akon did
I don't
that,
have that. But I can bring opera.
I'll sing to you.
And so
You drink your tears.
I got hooked up with my good friend Quinn. He was in Peace Corps and he was in
Okay.
Moldova. And so I went out to Moldova and Quinn set up some concerts for me to do. And we stayed with his host family. And their bathroom is dug. They dig the hole themselves.
Okay.
And they they build a little toilet up top. The toilet seat's made out of styrofoam, something probably that they got in the mail. They like, oh, we got a nice, perfect styrofoam little thing, right? They put it on there. So I go in there, use the bathroom. And as I'm walking in there, Quinn's just like, hey, man, just letting you know, like, there's butt flies. I'm like, what? Butt flies? What is that? Like,
Sound like something you get at Diddy's house.
what is this?
Butt
And
flies.
he was like, it's not a big deal, but they're going to be, like, hitting your butt. They're going to be like,
Hold on. Things are hitting your asshole, and this guy leads up with, not a big deal.
not a big deal.
Yeah.
But when you're pooping, there's flies down there, and you're gonna feel them kind of like, every once in a while brush up on it. I'm like, oh my God. And so I had to deal with the butt flies, right? And the toilet paper, at least for that, you could put it in there because it didn't matter. It was gonna
Yeah, there's no
dissolve with
flushing.
there's no flush, so that was fine.
Yeah. Was there an odor?
Yeah, man.
I wasn't
Nasty.
there.
Yeah, there's a shithole.
Gross with flies everywhere, and they're everywhere inside the outhouse too, buzzing around there, just everywhere.
You do a great fly, by the way.
And
I would hope.
You're welcome.
and when I go to stand up, this was the worst part. That styrofoam,
Stuck to you.
it stuck to me, and I broke it.
And they're not getting Amazon packages every day.
No, dude, and it was perfect. Whoever made it did a great job. It was like they got into it. I felt so bad. I pieced it back together and told Quinn, I was like, Quinn, I'm so sorry. I broke this.
The
little
next
shit."
guy goes in,
Yeah.
What did you do? It wasn't me. You did that.
The
So
flies
that's-
were like, this guy's fucked up.
I mean, I got a lot of stories like that though, because I also did a tour around Vietnam and around Cambodia and Thailand, and those were also some bathroom experiences, man. They got a different setup out there. They got
Dude
water
Wipes
potties.
has the pocket ones. They're pre-wrapped pocket ones. You should just...
Those would be.
Dude
Huge.
Wipes, let's hook up Big Brev with some pocket ones.
so dude wipes could have helped wipe away those fly kisses.
Well, they definitely would have been nice in Vietnam because a lot of times there's no toilet paper.
Really?
Like
What do
you're
they
using the
use?
freaking bathroom and there's no
Leaves?
toilet paper, and like you're out at a restaurant or something. And you're like, what the hell?
Even they have the hot
Sometimes-
spots.
Yo, sometimes they don't even have toilet seats. It's like a toilet, but there's no freaking seat on it. And you're
I
like,
had
what
that in
is this?
Portugal. There was no seat. I don't
Yeah.
understand that. I'm like, okay, guys, you
I
forgot a
know.
main fundamental part of this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they had
So I
the-
shit in the sink.
no,
Showed them.
They're like, no toilet seat, no toilet paper. Good luck. You got this, bro.
In Morocco, those
You know,
holes
your
in the ground.
fly impression was fantastic. Your Vietnamese impression, not so good.
So those would come in handy.
They would.
Yeah,
We
big
need to
time.
hook up Big Brev. Dude, Wipes,
Yeah,
if you're
hook me
listening
up.
to this, he needs some pocket ones to
Definitely.
take on tour with him.
You got any big projects coming up? Anything in the pipeline?
My big thing right now is just Studio Brev. I'm putting so much of my emphasis into that. My wife is also a coach in Studio Brev. Everyone gets to work with me and Jen. There's like a whole course that corresponds with it, with videos and homework assignments, and it's
I'm
it's a
paying
whole
you
thing.
for homework?
Yeah, there's
It's like,
homework.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's only for singers that want
to make it.
That really want to go for
Yeah.
it.
Did you ever get considered like voiceovers or movies or things
Big
like
time.
that?
I would love it.
Yeah, I
Would
can
love
see you
it.
be on a lot of different like cartoon movies.
Yeah,
and I can
or-
see him being a villain who owns like a nightclub, and he sings
And he
every
sells
night, and then he goes in the back and fucking murders somebody.
Yeah, he sells bad cocaine out of it.
I can
Yeah.
see him. He's
Specific.
very
Very
like
specific.
very like ZZ Top type,
Yeah.
like bad guy vibe.
Do you ever see the story how
like
ZZ
that.
Top got started?
No.
I don't know. I'm going to go the names wrong, but apparently there was a band in England or somewhere. They fucked up. They broke up before the songs made it to the States. They made it to the States. It was huge the following year. So the record company made a couple fake bands
Yep.
to go pretend to be this band from England and travel to the States. ZZ Top, the members were one of those bands. And
Wow.
they ended up making their own way.
They did it.
But they started pretending to be somebody else.
That's fine.
And there's more to that story. It's worth a Google.
Sure.
You should really get on that one of
Good
these
for them,
days.
though.
But it's good stuff.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome.
yeah, yours oddly specific.
Yeah,
You're a nightclub owner.
Oddly specific.
I don't know. I just saw the. I do that a
Works,
lot. I have
though.
like visions of movies and stuff in my head.
I get a lot of like the whole Viking thing. People are always
Yeah.
like, you should be in Game of Thrones or you should be in
Yeah.
Viking or whatever.
You should rape a monk
I would
on your free time.
sign me up for Game of Thrones or whatever. Sign me up. I'll be there.
I'll show up.
I'll do
Let's,
it.
yeah, let's talk to Kevin Internato and see if we can get to the next movie with us.
Talk to Kevin.
He's a director. Just came out with what was it called? Bastard Sons.
You know-
Frankie Edgar was in
You
it.
know what?
Huh?
Talk
Huh?
to him. Get him.
I Destiny.
So Kevin
me on the
Internato, he's a Jersey local. He's a Jersey
Okay.
boy. Did a lot of television. Did some movies. Then he started making his own movies, and he just did one called Bastard Sons, starring him, Roger Matthews,
Frank Edgar.
Frank Yeager, a couple other couple people in there, and they're comparing him to the modern day Martin Scorsese, and he's a hell of a director.
We had him on the
Martin
podcast a little while ago.
Who's Martin Scorsese?
He's a director.
Okay.
He's kind of
A good one.
a big deal.
Is he fucking with him?
I am totally.
I'm fucking with him because you were naming like real famous like musicians. I'm like, I don't know who that is.
You ever heard of Shark Tale?
You ever see Shark Tale?
What
Great movie.
What musicians didn't you recognize?
Any of them.
Mozart?
I know that guy.
Beethoven.
My baby listens to them. Yeah, I hear
Yeah, the
those.
baby, of course. It's like in every baby toy, there's Mozart. Yeah. That's awesome.
The one swing, I'm like, what is that? The Fifth Symphony?
Yeah.
Turn that the fuck off. I'm sick of hearing it. But my first daughter's swing had the Third Symphony on it,
Okay.
which you don't get too often.
No.
And I was like,
You're right.
It was made in Cambodia, that particular toy.
Nice.
So maybe it's big there. I don't know. But it
I
was,
don't
yeah, I enjoyed that one.
Sure. No, that's awesome. Yeah. My when I started getting into opera, my grandfather was really excited because I guess he liked it, but no one else in my family even thought about it. It was not like we listened to it growing up.
Now, do you still go to Martha's Vineyard every year and do that with them?
No.
That's done?
No. Yeah.
I'm trying to glom some tickets
I would
off you
love
for
to.
something, but
I would love to.
There's nothing going on.
I'm too old for that. That's like a college age type thing.
how old are you? Oh, 88, so you're 35?
36. Yeah.
36.
Yeah.
Yeah, you passed your prime, bud. I'm sorry.
Passed. I can't do that.
You an old yeller out the pasture.
Now it's movie prime.
Yeah, and
Movie Prime.
I think
Game of
that
Thrones.
I really think you'd be a hell of a
Kevin.
fucking voice guy.
I know.
I'm gonna give you Kevin's number before you leave.
I would love to try it. I would definitely love to try it. I got the voice for it. I don't know if I have like the.
Would you play
You
a
know.
biker or just a Viking?
I would do anything.
I'll do
I mean,
anything.
I come from like a musical theater
Really?
background, so like I had to play roles that like I had to be a prince in one. I had to be like an old curmudgeon-y old man in another. I've had to do.
He probably
All
would
sorts
be
of-
better than Conor McGregor in Roadhouse.
Oh,
Oh
hope
my
so.
god,
that was
Hope so.
atrocious. That was
fucking
atrocious.
train wreck.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
No.
So
But
First
I
of
can
all,
imagine.
I just want to let you
Conor
know now,
McGregor.
out of the gate, I'm crazy for the Swayze, and the fact that they even remade Roadhouse is just
Sure.
fucked up in my
Yeah, I
opinion.
hear you. That's how I felt about Jumanji, to be honest. I felt the same way about that because I love Robin Williams and Jumanji.
Dude, I
and
like
they
the new one.
redid it
They redid it?
with The Rock. They did it with The
Oh,
Rock.
that's right.
I
Remember?
liked the
Yeah.
So I
second Jumanji, the
didn't
new
wa- I
the
didn't
new
watch it.
ones. I thought was
Okay.
very funny.
Okay.
Jack Black was fucking hilarious. The first one, now the first
So
one,
Jack Black's in one of the Jumanjis now?
he's in both of
I
them.
didn't
Both
know
of them,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, he's the hot girl.
I didn't know that. See, I
hilarious.
can get down on Jack. I love Jack Black.
Yeah, Jack Black fucks.
Shout
He's
out
a
Jack
cocksman.
Black.
Yeah,
National treasure. Yeah.
he really
We need
is.
to put him on the new 20, get rid of
Yeah.
Jackson.
I just did a Jack Black cover with my buddy Marwan. It's on
What
my
song?
Instagram. Hit the baby one more time from Kung Fu Panda.
Nice.
We redid it. Yeah. I think it slaps, and I'm hoping he sees it. Jack Black, please see it.
Jack Black, please.
Please,
I
at
first of all,
least
I
just
just
see
love
it.
the fact that we can tag Jack Black in this now.
Yeah, I know.
I hope it's Jack Black. Jack Black, please call me. Call me Jack.
Love Jack Black.
Call me.
Big Jack Black.
If it's okay if I call you Jack, Mr. Black.
We'll come to you and do a podcast.
I think my favorite Jack Black role was Orange County. He played the brother Lance.
Dude,
My favorite.
he quotes that movie.
I try to pick him up. Sean, get the Bronco. Get the Bronco.
Every time he picks
Oh,
me
like a
up.
big old hat that goes.
I say that all the time
Burn
too.
the skulls.
Talk to the hand.
I got ideas.
They're burned through my skull.
Burn it through my skull, buddy.
He has walked in my living room more than one time going, yo, I need your piss.
Oh, dude, it's so
My
good.
parole officer called. Need that piss.
Need that piss.
I'm going to jail.
Do I just turn on your computer? It's like the mail would be in the mail slot. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I think you're right. That and Tropic Thunder are probably his best
Sure.
roles.
I mean, I
Trap.
thought
Oh.
Jelly beans.
I thought he did great in Shallow Hal. I think Shallow Hal is one of those.
You gotta
movies.
weld the
Yeah.
corners better.
Plus,
I say that line once a day.
all
Yeah.
the picks to Destiny and all those movies, Tenacious D movies, they were
was
great.
Anything with Jack Black is good. So I'm gonna
Even Gulliver's Travels.
So I'm telling you, one of his first roles was on X Files.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Crushed
Oh,
it.
cool.
Crushed it.
Well, now I gotta maybe rethink this Jumanji thing.
Yeah, I think you jumped the gun on that one.
Yeah, I did. I
Is it you have a personal problem with The Rock? Who is it? Kevin
No,
Hart?
no.
Who don't you like?
I'm diehard Robin Williams as well, and that
Okay.
movie, and it's one of those other movies that I can quote like crazy. I love that movie, and when they come out with a movie again that you're like, you love that much,
Yeah.
you know?
They're making Happy Gilmore too.
Whoa, who's in it?
Greenlit?
Yeah.
Same
Oh,
guy.
thank
Another-
goodness.
that's another one of those
Speaking of
movies.
Robin
Obviously,
Williams,
Chubbs is it.
I just introduced the movie Flubber to my children.
Okay, nice.
They were like, my oldest daughter, my middle daughter was like,
Oh,
I don't
man.
get it. I'm like, what is there to get? The guy makes a fucking flubber.
Yeah.
She goes, but what's flubber? I'm like,
Bouncy.
it's rubber and it does stuff. It
Yeah.
talk, she goes, no, I'm not. Nah, I'm good.
But it's Robin
Travesty.
Williams.
Yes, Robin Williams.
That's great.
It doesn't hit
introduce-
like, not to get into the political topics. We don't need to interject. But I was on the Instagram the other day speaking of Robin Williams, and there was this one guy who was like, I don't want drag queens teaching children. And goes off, like really goes off on it. And I just wrote, it was cool when Rob Williams did it. That's all I wrote as a troll, just trolling. And everything turned from political to Rob Williams is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, you're welcome, everybody. You're welcome. I saved you.
Solid reference, right?
It was
there.
cool when he did it.
Epic movie.
It was cool when he did it.
Another
he was
movie,
trying to see his
another movie
kids.
I can quote, just like Orange County.
You quote Mrs. Doubtfire?
Yeah, I love Mrs. Doubtfire.
When my wife is having trouble with the twins, I say all the time, "Help us on the way!" And I run to the living room constantly. It's like a weekly thing for
we
me.
have like a warm up that we do for Sopranos. But you remember how he like doesn't have his face on, and the ladies come into his house,
pie?
and he goes, "Hello,
Hello, dear. Yeah.
One drip or two drips.
yeah, right. He's the best. Love him.
And then was it Birdcage? I used that
Oh,
little line.
my God.
If I wear shoes, I fall down. I say it constantly because I will take my diving boots off. I'm on the boat, usually a barge,
Hank
and the
Azaria.
safety guy's like, "You have to have shoes on." And like one guy told me you can't be in your bare feet, so I went and bought bear slippers. So I was in my bare feet.
Yep.
Right. So I always say that if
Oh,
I wear
man.
shoes, I fall down, and they never laugh. They're all real fucking serious.
Yeah. Well,
But shout out Robin Williams, rest in peace.
Yeah,
you're the
for sure.
goat. There's not a bad Robin Williams film.
I'm diehard Robin Williams. I'm diehard Tom Brady. Big time Pats guy.
I didn't. Now
Big
the hat
time.
made sense.
Big time.
I'm gonna start sending you
Yes.
anti
No.
Tom Brady memes.
Go for it. It won't bother me.
You're like, what is this shit?
Who's your team?
I don't watch sports.
Oh, all right.
He's not a sports
All right.
guy at
Not
all.
a sports guy at all.
Colts.
Colts. All right. We had a thing going there for a while.
Yeah,
Pats Colts.
We had
Yeah.
two of the best quarterbacks in the league. So.
Oh yeah, and all
Hey,
time.
man, Tom Brady.
Whoa,
Yeah.
what? Oh,
All time.
How'd you feel when Tom Brady went to the Tampa Bay and then won with them? Were you like a love-hate thing kind of thing there, or just
I love him.
pure respect?
I love Tom Brady so much. I supported him fully. I knew he got screwed over by the Pats, and I wasn't about to,
Right.
I wasn't about to trash talk him.
You
I
can't
love
hate
him.
a goat.
What's going on
I
with
love
that
him so
Belichick?
much. Yeah,
He's probably done
He's done.
soon, very soon.
That's the only name I know.
Belichick.
That's all I got. That's all I got for you.
They like tore him down on the Dynasty documentary that just came out on Apple TV, and I don't like that at all. I still love Belichick. I still
He's
love him.
a legend. He's going to be
Legend.
one of the
Greatest.
greatest coaches of all time.
Definitely, 100%.
No,
If they don't make a trophy after him or some sort of like award thing,
I don't know if they're gonna. Based off of how that documentary went, so that was funded a lot by the Kraft family, and I don't know if you saw it, but they go into all the dirt of everyone except for Robert Kraft. Yeah, we all know what he did.
When you say Kraft like cheese?
No,
He likes
different.
getting hand jobs. So what?
Yeah, well, remember that though?
Yeah,
He went down. There
massage
was all
parlor.
that. They didn't mention any of that in there,
Hold
and that was
on.
a big deal.
Can we rewind?
He goes to massage parlors and gets jacked off.
What's the problem? He's
no
paying
problem
for
at all.
it.
He,
Well, it was a. you know
wasn't
what? It was a
raping.
thing.
and he was single at the time. Wasn't married.
Yeah, what the fuck you do?
It was a thing, and they didn't even mention it. And
Well, why
that's
wasn't
what
it a
tells
thing?
me right then and there that Kraft had too much say in what was going in that
Well, I'm
documentary.
just- Not
'Cause
to, not to play devil's advocate here. I just want to know why is it a thing?
because where he was doing it is illegal because it's prostitution.
yeah, it's prostitution.
No, it's a massage.
Florida.
It's not though. It's not. It's not.
It just so happens they massage my dick,
I mean,
and then it sneezed. I say bless you.
I'll tell you one thing. I had to answer to a lot of Pat's haters about it and defend his honor. And it was, it should have been in the documentary. If you're going to talk about all of Belichick's dirt, Brady's dirt, everything else, you got to go into Robert Kraft's dirt too. And they didn't.
So you heard it here first, guys. Kraft likes hand jobs.
First, yeah. Heard it here first.
On
In
that
case
note,
no one knows it.
on that note, we really appreciate you coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Rob, in my opinion, one of our best podcasts we have so far.
Oh, definitely number one.
He says it to everybody.
100% the best.
He says it to all the boys. You're the
best
best
one.
podcast.
No one else has sung on it. Even we had a Broadway star come in here and sing.
We did.
and she didn't sing either. So
But in all fairness, we didn't ask her to sing.
thoughts are true.
You kind of asked me to sing, kind of not. You implied
I
it.
know. I was like, can you please sing it?
Yeah.
I asked her. I looked her in the eyes. I was like, sing it. I cocked my pistol. I'm like, fucking sing it. You better fucking sing it.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Check out Big Brev on all the social media platforms. You will not miss out.